Because I believe in the power of creative and committed people to change the world for the better.
It's something which I didn't have access to, and now I have access to some great social entrepreneurs working at scale.
Connecting with like-minded people and becoming part of this amazing and very inspiring community.
Providing them with confidence, support, compassionate challenge, and access to a network.
When you position everybody as a change leader, I mean, how empowering is that, right? I mean, it cannot get better than that.
It's energizing being part of a network of bright, determined people focused on doing good things.
In one word, or maybe two, being a member of Ashoka today is to be a committed pioneer.
Will be optimism, not just Afro-optimism, but optimism in our world as a whole.
An alliance of transforming the world together.
To me, it's hopeful.
More optimistic about the future.
If there's one word, I would really say hope.
In one word, being part of Ashoka makes me feel hopeful.
I'm very empowered and inspired and honored to be part of this family and this community.
And now I would like to welcome my dear colleague Perrine. She's the head of the global Ashoka Support Network, and Arnaud, who is actually the founder of the Ashoka Support Network some years ago, and also the head of Changemaker Companies. You're here. Come on, big round of applause for these two. So, we already said a big thank you for all the ASNs being with us today, but now we would like to know, Arnaud, 20 years ago, why did you start it? Like, what happened? And how is it for you to see so many ASNs in a room?
Well, does it work? Yes. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me just fix a little mistake. I'm not the founder. I'm probably one of the co-creators, but I really want to give tribute to Olivier Kaiser, who was really the one who came up with this idea. Actually, it's almost true, and we can read. But let me disclose something. I think after 20 years we can do it. When I look at this, I'm glad that we did not go for the first name that we wanted to use at the time. It was ESN. And E was European Support Network. And we realized that it would be such a mistake to start with Europe only. And when I look at all the faces coming from everywhere in the world, I'm glad that we changed it to Ashoka Support Network.
Good point.
Why we did that? I think originally it was basically the goal to surround this amazing community of social entrepreneurs with a like-minded community of business leaders, investors, entrepreneurs who could really help them get to the next level. There was also a financial component. We really wanted to sustain the very core of Ashoka, so the venture program, the program electing fellows, with a system that would, actually be able to follow the growth of this program and not be demanding on too many, I would say, big donors. So I think we have achieved that. But the magic of the Ashoka Support Network is definitely how ASN members have contributed to the growth of the impact of the social entrepreneurs, how they have contributed with their networks, their expertise, sometimes their direct investments in the projects, and how that has probably gone beyond our expectations. So it's really moving 20 years after to see how this core community has become really, I would say, a co-leader of our movement. I think we don't praise them enough, probably. I know that the team is doing an amazing job, but I really want to give a big shout at all the members in the room. Obviously, they know the nearly 400 that we have globally. And it's again, they are true co-leaders of this movement. And I just want to finish by saying that, you know, this is probably just the beginning, because when you look at the evolution of Ashoka's strategy and this Everyone a Changemaker vision that we have, there will be many more opportunities to get engaged, obviously with the social entrepreneurs, with the young changemakers, with the corporate leaders. So it's just starting. And I would love to come back in 20 years, you know, to celebrate the 40th anniversary. And maybe this time as an ASN member myself. So let's see.
Let's see. Thank you, Arnaud, for not only kicking it off with others, because most of the time you do things together in collaboration, and for sharing with us what happened 20 years ago now. And now we're going to make the step to you, Perrine, because you are the head, the global head of this amazing network. And what is your wish for the next 20 years? Or let's say, if you come back in 20 years,
exactly.
like what you wanna, what would you like to see?
Yeah, I would also like to come back in 20 years as an ASN. Well, I wish that this community expand. I wish that the community goes also to other countries, new countries, that we create more impact. We had this amazing chance to have a new network in India, and it expanded very quickly, but I want to see more leaders joining Ashoka, joining the fellows, joining the changemakers, young changemakers, the staff, to create more impact in the world. And I would also love to see more leaders from Africa, not only in Africa, but from all over the world. Yes, and I think what is really important, we had a really great gathering this morning, and I would like to take this occasion also really to thank all of you, and also the ones who are not here or maybe listening to us today, because you are a very, very key partner of the community. And I wish that we could deepen the trust that we were talking about this morning, and that we can collaborate more and more and more. And we are here, we are doing our best. It's not only me, you said global, but we have representatives all over the world who are doing an amazing job. So continue to come to us, ask questions, reacting, shaking us with new ideas, and let's make it a success.
Thank you. I would say, then happy birthday to you, to us, to everyone in the ASN network, and thanks for sharing your insights from the past, present, and future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Perrine and Arnaud, not only for your efforts and your time and love you put into and have put into this network. One thing I would like to mention right now, because we're talking about that ASNs are really supporting our vision, our work, and so you're also supporting our fellows through that. And I would not do my job well right now if I wouldn't mention something which is important. Because as you know, Ashoka provides fellows with the stipends they need to be able to focus on the solution 100% for 3 years, as well as a lifelong supporting through their fellowships. And they are still, we have around 40 unfunded fellows all around the world elected in the past 2 years. The total amount to support them is 8 million euros, and we're delighted that our American partner, Mackenzie Scott, is doubling donations for new Ashoka Fellows in the Global South. So if you donate now, you will create double impact if you're interested. So if you're interested, please speak to an Ashoka staff. If you know someone who's interested, tell us, show us. You know, these stipends have a big impact and are really important, not only for our work, but it's for the fellows' work and the fellows we give the stipends to. So thanks again for your support. And now, before we're gonna continue in celebration mode, we have one thing we would like to do with you right now, because you know when we celebrate, it's an amazing mode to be in, having the party hat, the mode, the feeling. But when you celebrate, sometimes it just makes sense to take a breath, take a moment, and also internalize and integrate what is happening. And as you know, we have not only this perfect installation, which can help you when you celebrate, but we also have the brilliant creator and fellow behind the space, Dan Aker, because we have the breathing space, as you hopefully have all experienced already. With us, Dan, I would love to have you to join me next on stage, because you're the founder of Happy Lab based in Geneva in Switzerland, and you came all the way from Switzerland, and you use creative placemaking to combat isolation and separation between urban residents and build a shared sense of belonging. So also talking about listening cities, I think this person is also listening in a different way and helping us to do so. Dan, you have so much to share. Please join me on stage. It's yours.
He was just standing there. It's been 15 minutes, and I'm watching him, and he's just there, standing. And I keep watching him, and he's there, he's not moving. After a while, I just come, and I approach him, I say, "Excuse me, can I speak to you?" And he says, "Yes." And I say, "What's happening? How are you feeling?" And he says, "I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a tough day, but somehow I feel relaxed. It's been really hard, but right now I feel serene." I had just turned on about half an hour before my breath installation, and this person was just standing there, looking at this light pulsing, and he kept standing there. My name is Dan Asher. I'm an Ashoka Fellow. I'm an artivist. That means that I use art to create social change. I create large-scale, citywide installations that travel around the world, always addressing key issues of our time. And I'm here to speak to you about Breathe, my latest installation. Breathe is an installation about slowing down. There's this feeling that we're accelerating on an exponential curve. We're always going faster, bigger, stronger, but we don't know where we're going, but we're just going there faster and faster. And I have this feeling that we might need to slow down and potentially all of us take one big breath all together. Can you start the video, please? So Breathe is this 15-meter wide sphere that pulses with light. And I put them in the city centers of cities around the world. And here, it invites you to breathe in and breathe out, syncing you breathing to the rhythm of the light. 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. And I invite people, everyday people that come, especially for people that just happen to pass by, to come around the sphere and sit down and be there and breathe together and connect with each other beyond our differences. So this is the heartbeat of this installation. But then what happens is that this beat spreads out throughout the city. And here I was in Geneva in May. And I had different locations that started to glow with the same rhythm, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Those really spreading throughout the whole city and inviting the whole city to breathe together. So this is the famous Geneva water fountain. In and out. The tower house, the lighthouse, you will see different buildings, the UN building, the World Health Organization, the Opera House, some museums in different parts of town, all of them lighting in and out, synchronized with the same rhythm. And on the website, there's also the same rhythm, in and out, synchronized, so that anybody from around the world could breathe and connect with the people in Geneva experiencing this Heartbeat. This installation will now start touring around the world, and there was an ambition to have, at least 8 cities around the world breathing together and connecting throughout the distances. But the feedback that we got, apart from this man, like all the people that came again and again to be there, it was there for 11 days, and they said, it's too short. I was like, yeah, 11 days, that was pretty full on for us, but it's too short. And the second feedback was, it should be a fixed installation. And then the third feedback was, there should be one in every city. So now this is the new ambition, is to have a Breathe installation in every single city around the world as a fixed installation. Thank you. Right here, we have 2 pilots, and so basically there's this very tiny sphere here. Doesn't look like much, but it's a reminder to always go back to your breath again and again. So anytime you're in the room and you're looking at the people and stuff, and also you see this small light on the side, you go, oh yeah, breathe in, 6 seconds, breathe out. Go back to your breath. Center yourself. Be here and now. There's also a room in the other building with the breathing room, and again, it's a prototype. It kind of works. And so it's a 1.50 meter sphere with the same rhythm. So if you want to find a space to slow down and connect with each other, you can go there. And again, just inviting you to go back to your breath again and again. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan, for this gift. Now we integrated, now we took a breath, and now we're going to put our party hats back on. Because we are really delighted. I told you, celebrate, breathe, and then we're ready to celebrate again. Because we're really delighted to have many Ashoka Fellows here who have been with us for a long while, but we also have our new Ashoka Fellows here. And we want to welcome them to our family and celebrate them being with us, but the ones who can do it best and guide through the celebration are Clara and Martyna, who are putting all their love and time into this effort. So please join me on stage. It is yours.
Maybe mine? Oh.
Yeah. I'm Clara.
I'm Martyna.
And it might sound a bit cheesy if we say that we have the best job in the world, but it's true. At Ashoka, we spend our daily work scouting for the most impactful social entrepreneurs. We learn their life stories, we learn from their strategies, and if they fit our criteria, we guide them through our international selection process. Martyna and I do this work for Germany and Poland, and together we co-lead the European team of people doing this work across all Europe: Spain, Romania, Turkey, UK, Belgium, and many other countries. Today, it's our big privilege, on behalf of all our colleagues who've brought these amazing individuals into our network, to present their work to you.
And we know that it was already a very full day, but we need to add to that a cherry on the top. And we are Ashoka, so our cherry are outstanding social entrepreneurs. And you already have brochures. Over there you can read about all newly elected Ashoka Fellows here in Europe. But 28 of them are here with us in this room. They practice true participation and lead Europe to the bright future. We want to acknowledge them and welcome them. We do it for 3 reasons. Firstly, social entrepreneurs deserve to be celebrated. They encourage hundreds of thousands to become active citizens, change makers, and hand in hand build a better future for us all. And it deserves celebration. Secondly, social entrepreneurs need your support, whether it's your time, interest, contacts, or funding. Thirdly, we have a networking evening ahead of us. A whole day tomorrow, super useful conference app. There is still time to welcome them, hug them, congratulate them, and hopefully collaborate with them.
Ashoka has built this community over the last 40 years. In 1980, we have elected our first fellow, rooted in the belief that there's no greater force for addressing the world's most pressing issues than a good idea in the hands of a social entrepreneur. As our fellowship has grown to over 4,000 fellows, we have also deepened our understanding of what makes their work so impactful. What unites them across all geographies and all sectors is their approach. Ashoka Fellows don't see their audience as beneficiaries, but as core contributors to their solutions. They transform what we often see as weaknesses into strength and shift our focus from problems to possibilities. The possibility of a world where everyone can be a contributor to creating solutions, or as Ashoka envisions it, a world where everyone can be a change maker. In our global fellow study, Unlonely Planet, we explored the strategies fellows use to build this world. We have learned that they collaborate, they form multiplier partnerships, they create new spaces for community voices, they shape policies, market systems, and ecosystems that sustain change making. This means our Ashoka Fellows are not just powerful role models, they are also role makers. Before we dive into the incredible work of our newly elected fellows of 2023 and 2024, let's take a moment to reflect on what they went through to be here today. It was perhaps one of the most demanding, transformative, and insightful experiences that they have undertaken so far. A journey full of self-reflection, eye-opening moments, and lasting connections. The Ashoka selection process. Ashoka Fellows are selected based on 5 criteria. The first and most crucial, which we call our knockout criterion, is whether the person has a systems-changing new idea. It has to be new and innovative, but equally important, it needs to address the root causes of why a problem exists. Second, we assess their entrepreneurial ability. Can they build partnerships, win support, and establish an organization? Essentially, we are asking, is this idea in the right hands to succeed? Third, we look for creativity. A social entrepreneur will face many challenges on their journey, so they must navigate with inventive solutions. Fourth, we evaluate social impact. What is the potential of this idea to achieve significant change? And finally, we look for very strong ethical and moral character. it is through this lens that we get to know social entrepreneurs at every step of our selection process. We start by sourcing nominations, building large pools of nominators across the country. Our most successful sources are our fellow networks, our Ashoka Support Network, our partners, so essentially all of you in this room. This is why we would like to thank you for continuously helping us to find promising candidates. Your nominations are why we can celebrate these fellows today. And for everyone else, you can also nominate. After hearing this criteria, if you think of someone, please let us know. You can always nominate through our website. Once nominated, the path to becoming a fellow involves several in-depth discussions. The first round is at the local office, which provides expertise on the local context. Next, the social entrepreneur speaks with someone at Ashoka's global level to place the idea in a global context. The candidate then moves to the selection panel stage, where an external panel of 3 social and business entrepreneurs interview them and decide by consensus whether to recommend the candidate to the Ashoka board. And finally, the Ashoka board reviews this information and gives the final approval. And I think this is the perfect moment for a round of applause for all our Ashoka Fellows in the room who have successfully navigated this. We would now like to introduce you to some of these incredible individuals. Of course, no amount of time on this stage could do justice to the incredible work they are doing, so we won't even try. Instead, we will present small snippets of their work through the lens that I mentioned earlier. How are they practicing true participation, and what strategies are they using to build a world where everyone can thrive? And with this, I will hand over to you, Martyna, to introduce our first group of fellows who are inspiring those who have not previously seen themselves as changemakers to become just that.
So, without further ado, it's this time that you will be able to clap. I know that you're waiting for that. Ashoka Fellows are so amazing in solving complex social problems because they inspire individuals to become changemakers. She trains thousands of hundreds to become an archaeologist. Just like that, everyone can go through previously unknown archaeological sites and experience what does social impact archaeology means. Dear people, please welcome Ashoka Fellow coming from UK, Lisa Westcott-Wilkins. Can you please wave to us, Lisa? Yeah. Do you remember that I said that we have 28 Ashoka Fellows in this room? We need to keep the clapping so hot, but a little shorter, okay? Change-making in politics. She's bringing innovators into German politics and implementing change-making as a part of systems culture. She scouts and transforms individuals into political changemakers who mobilize millions. Please welcome Ashoka Fellow from Germany, Caroline Weimann. Caroline, I've seen some. In the age of overwhelming information, we all need to become responsible consumers and producers of what we see. Ashoka Fellow from Spain involves teachers and students to be fact checkers. And he put it into the curriculum that every kid in the school can experience that. Dear friends, please welcome, coming from Spain, Lorenzo Marini. And now, let's introduce our first Ukrainian-Polish Ashoka Fellow. She encourages both migrants and welcome communities to reflect on many aspects of migration and integration, and at the same time encourage people with migrant and refugee experience to quickly become active participants for both their new home as a homeland. Please welcome Miroslava Kerek. Ashoka Fellow from Romania understands what we also heard about during previous panel, that architecture and city design deeply influence communities. She's introducing new educational approach, making sure that children and young people actively participate in shaping how their community look like. Please welcome Vera Martin. Traditionally, patients are patients, and they do not participate in the care that they get. They're just passive recipients. It's changing. Ashoka Fellow from Spain, making sure that patients can be also responsible for the care they get. Please welcome Joseph Vargas. He's going to join us at the evening, I guess. So you will meet him at the mingling later on.
And applause for him again.
Yeah, we had Olympics, we had Euro. It was very busy in the sport year. So let's talk about football. Our Ashoka Fellow from Portugal is breaking barriers and making sport more inclusive. Probably you heard something about that before, but he leads a program that empowers sports lovers with physical and sensory disabilities to create projects with local teams. And thanks to that, open doors for jobs, boost social inclusion, and celebrate diversity. Please give a warm welcome to Jose Soares. Ashoka Fellow from Germany is inspiring dads to become change makers by helping them to realize their potential. He provides the tools and confidence they need to start local groups, boosting their self-beliefs and allow them to become micro-entrepreneurs. And what I love about his work is that the new children's books are part of the solution. Dear everyone, please welcome Alain Misala. You heard from me, but probably it's better that you hear a little also from them. So, who do newly elected fellows inspire to become changemakers?
My name is Alain Misala. I am empowering Black fathers in Germany to become changemakers. This is an important foundation to redefine how the world sees us.
I inspire talented individuals to become political entrepreneurs. They strive to join politics, to overcome barriers and polarization through innovative approaches, and thereby contribute to saving our democracy.
Hello, prostatitis is the most common disease in the world. We are empowering the patients in order to improve the quality of life. And for us, it's very important that our patients stay in the center of the disease and at the same time in the center of the national health system.
Through the Football for All Leadership program, we are empowering disabled people from all over the world to raise their community project in football. Because we believe in the power of football and we believe that everyone can score the goal of inclusion.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm an archaeologist, and I'm inspiring everyone to become a change maker by giving them the opportunity to roll up their sleeves and jump in the trenches alongside me and discover the power and the joy of learning more about our shared human past.
I'm inspiring educators all over the world to teach their pupils, whatever their age, to think critically and avoid digital misinformation.
Me and my team in Ukrainian hubs, we inspire Ukrainian migrants and refugees to be a change maker, to work for the community, to advocate for the community, and to be leaders of the community.
I'm inspiring built environment professionals, architects, urban planners, engineers, designers to get involved in education, and also teachers to use built environment in their teaching. This leads to more civic engagement of children and youth in relation to the spaces of their community.
Many of our fellows stand out at building partnerships and collaboration that inspires others to become change makers. But what does this look in practice? Let's explore this concept with our next group of newly elected Ashoka Fellows. Imagine a future where public railway stations are transformed into vibrant community gardens where people can plant and grow their own food and generate solar energy for their communities. Sounds dreamy, right? If you're in London, it's already happening. Local volunteers in partnership with the public transportation system have turned thousands of meters of grey space into green areas to take meaningful climate action. Please welcome Agamemnon Otero, Ashoka Fellow from the UK. Next, we spotlight an innovation that started right here in Hamburg and has since then become a nationwide standard for how healthcare and social services should work together. He is transforming early childhood care by training baby guides to support unborn babies and their parents throughout pregnancy and beyond. Please join me in welcoming Ashoka Fellow Sönke Siefert from Germany. The statistics couldn't be more shocking. In Germany, every 4 minutes, a woman experiences violence by her partner or ex-partner. To end this, we need new ways for women to escape abusive relationships and a stronger societal commitment to tackling domestic violence. She is shifting the focus from viewing domestic violence as a private issue to treating it as a national security concern, holding everyone from politicians to social services accountable. Please meet Ashoka Fellow Stefanie Knab from Germany. From Poland, she shows how working with unlikely allies can drive social change. She collaborates with city officials, doctors, MMA fighters, and TV renovation teams to make literacy a community effort, to boost civic involvement and encourage more people to engage with reading. Let's give a warm welcome to Maria Descour, Ashoka Fellow from Poland. Similarly, another Ashoka Fellow from Poland is creating a support network for caregivers of people with disabilities. She is bringing together beauticians, massage therapists, hairdressers, and caregivers to join this important network. Please welcome Olga Slebrovonska. Many of our Ashoka Fellows involve community members as experts and decision makers to create spaces where they can develop solutions and share their plans for action. Building on this principle, our newest Ashoka Fellow from Spain is creating a global network of media professions called well-being agents to promote mental health in the industry. This movement aims to challenge harmful norms and make mental health a core value, thereby improving the quality of journalism. Please welcome Marc Cabra. And now, to give you at least one deep dive into a concrete example of how our fellows champion true participation, let me introduce you to our new Ashoka Fellow from Germany, Christiana Bucalo, who is bringing participation to one of the most invisible and vulnerable communities, stateless people.
Thank you. Should I just shoot, Clara? Okay. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Christiana. I'm very, very happy to be here. I am the founder of State Free. We are an organization that works on statelessness, and I am also a person who was born stateless in Germany 30 years ago. And usually that's not the way how I introduce myself, but I think in the context of what I'm about to share with you, because I was asked to share a bit about how participation is embedded in our work, I think it's important to share that with you too. Before I go into our work, I will briefly talk about statelessness, because I'm one of those experts by experience, because I'm also a stateless person. Statelessness describes the situation of a person who's not recognized by any nation in this world. That means that they don't have a citizenship. And when it comes to statelessness, it's important to understand that the power of who is recognized lies with the state. It's not about whether or not you feel French or Spanish, it's about whether or not Spain or France accept you as a citizen. As we are living in a world in which, unfortunately, human rights are not tied to you being a human, but they're actually tied to you being a person with a citizenship, so a citizen. Many stateless persons don't have access to very basic rights. Depending on where they live in, they might not be able to gain identity documentation, have access to health services, education, no freedom of travel for them, and also they don't have the right to vote. So while being 100% affected by what is decided in politics, they have 0% of impact when it comes to who decides what happens in politics. And I founded State Free around 4 to 3 years ago, and before founding State Free, I did my research, and there were two things that stood out to me. One was that there's an estimate of 15 million people worldwide who are stateless, and despite this large number, nobody knows about it. Also in Germany, we have over 126,000 people. And the second thing that stood out to me was that there were organizations that were working on statelessness, and I didn't even know about them, despite the fact that I've been stateless. So before I started the work, I reached out to those organizations, and I thought that by reaching out to them, I would then get to know all of these other 15 million people who are stateless. So I reached out to those organizations, and instead I understood that those people work on statelessness without talking to stateless people. So that means that even in the work on statelessness, stateless people were invisible and underrepresented. And that's exactly what we want to change in our work. Our vision at State Free is that one day every stateless person has regained pride in their identity and has reclaimed their dignity. And our mission is to create community, visibility, and equal rights for them. And the important part is that we do this by transforming the role of stateless people from victim to creators of their own life. So for us, it's important that they know we see them as experts of their own experience, and they need to see themselves as experts of their own experience too, because unfortunately we live in a world in which you internalize what other people think of you. And how this translates into our work is that it's actually part of every part of our work. So when it comes to research, it's stateless people doing the research on the issue instead of them only being the subject of the research. So they create the knowledge and the information that is shared. They create the narrative that they are in. When it comes to policy, in a world in which stateless people are not even able to vote, we make sure that we bring them together with politicians and decision makers, and not only in a way that they, like tokens, share their story, but actually in a way of them discussing with politicians how solutions should look like. And there are many other parts in which we involve stateless people, but I only have 3 minutes to share about my work. So the thing is, I just want to maybe end on a note. While we did this breathing exercise, and I think that's very important to share, enabling participation in your work is very exhausting. So it takes a lot of resources from yourself, mentally, your body, your mind, financial resources, and so forth. And I think all of us as change makers know how tiring this work can be. It's tiring, but it also can be exciting, and it's also a privilege to do this work, and so forth. And I think when it comes to the power that we have as change makers, because I usually always say that in context of human rights, because if everyone has access to human rights, it's not a limited good. If everyone has access to human rights, everyone has more access, so there's no less in human rights. And it's the same thing with power. So the power that we have as change maker, if we share that power, it multiplies. So it means at some point it's going to be all of us being the ones doing this work. So we have more power to change it, and we don't need to be that tired anymore. So I just want to make sure that all of you question in which ways you make sure that the work that you do actually allows people to participate in the decision making.
Thank you. I just thought that maybe it's good to breathe before we go back. Yes, Ashoka Fellows are sometimes tired. And Ashoka Fellows are amazing in bringing other people on board to change systems to support all change makers. And how do they do that? Among others, by connecting local climate initiatives with global empathy-building efforts. Ashoka Fellow from Belgium has created a system for accessible climate education that inspires global change. With over 3.4 million students involved and over 21,000 teachers. Young people worldwide lead their own climate initiatives. Please give a warm welcome to Kunnen Timmers. Staying with children, dear everyone, Ashoka Fellow from Czech Republic is changing how we tackle violence against children. Her approach focuses on transparency and profound teamwork to break a cycle of violence. Please welcome Petra Vončová. Staying with children's well-being. Ashoka Fellow from Italy is transforming lives of caregivers, those young adults moving from state care to independence. He empowers them as expert by experience. I guess you hear that's a common thread. Allowing them to shape policies and change how society views their journey. Please welcome, coming from Italy, Federico Zullo. Newly elected Ashoka Fellow from Belgium is a lawyer, tackling the toughest challenge of legal aid for those with limited resources. Casa Legal is shaking the system by blending legal, psychological, and social support. And while Katia Melis is on maternity leave, taking care of a new generation of changemaker, her co-founder from Casa Legal, Clémentine Hébert, is here with us. So please give them super warm welcome. Oh, wow! Oh, wow! Oh, wow, she is with us here. And next, to a person with a dream. He dreams of a society where data is common good, driving more collaborative and sustainable economy. And he makes sure that these dreams come true. He transforms our systems from competitive ownership to transparent sharing. Please welcome Aurel Stenzel. Dear gentlefolk, extreme poverty is a symptom of a problem. And Ashoka Fellow from the UK focused on the root causes. And she identified it as extreme wealth and its relations to global inequalities. She challenges that concepts and changing the norms and practices within a private wealth industry. Please welcome Stephanie Broby. You know, it's often said that in the face of death, we become all equal. Ashoka Fellow from Czech Republic is making sure that this truth is realized. He's working to transform how everyone in the medical system, in the healthcare system, perceives death, balancing those amazing life-saving protocols with wishing of dying patients. He also introduced something that I highly encourage you to check: life checkups, encouraging people to reflect on their lives to make sure that they are living the life that they truly want. Please welcome, coming from Czech Republic, Martin Lučka. And as we talk mostly about European Ashoka Fellows, you know, we have much more of them globally. We are so lucky that 4 of Ashoka Fellows from India, US, Brazil, and Canada are with us here in this room. And Ashoka Fellow from India breaks the systemic barrier for Indian students from some of the most historically marginalized groups. Please welcome Raju Kendra. Ashoka Fellow from US is expanding the legal and cultural definition of family and proving that more inclusive approach can help everyone. Please welcome Diana Adams. Ashoka Fellow from Canada, is bridging the digital divide for indigenous youth. Please welcome Alejandro Mayor Albanos. And from Brazil, Ashoka Fellow, who is repurposing feminist journalism for a digital age. Please welcome Carolina Oms. And back to Europe. Last but not least, two Ashoka Fellows from Italy and Poland. He has initiated an environmental cultural shift to end a throwaway culture by activating a network of people promoting repair and reuse. She empowers citizens to take care of their forests and keep governments accountable. We want to give you one last sneak peek into someone's work. So you will, in a few seconds, learn how they do that. But who am I talking about? It's Marta Jagustin and Ugo Valeri. Please them get big welcome, and I invite you here.
I will ask Ugo first. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining me here. So, we have known for some time now that we need systems change to fight climate change. Now, we would like to hear from you, Ugo. What levers have you identified in our systems to advance your goal of ending the throwaway economy, and why, as you have told me, is it so important to talk about it as an economy?
Thank you. It's an honor and really a pleasure to be here. And the key thing is we've identified we really change the system if we acknowledge that it's not just a matter of cultural factors, but we need to destroy the concept of a throwaway economy. We've all experienced it. Products that don't last as much as we need them to. No systems in place to promote financially, fiscally, and otherwise an approach that reduces the waste of resources and that asks for accountability of those that bring products into this world. The only way we can do this is by changing forever legislation that allows manufacturers only to bring into this world products that they are prepared to support for as long as possible to prevent unnecessary exploitation of resources, waste, and promoting a consumption that often we are forced to get stuck in. But the problem is overproduction, and if we want to slow down, we need to make those that bring products into this world accountable. Legislation is the way forward.
Thank you, Ugo. Marta, how are you changing the narratives about who owns our public forests and how we should treat them?
First of all, very happy to be here. It's a joy. One thing I need to tell you is that in Poland, 80% of forests are public, and this means that 1/4 of our country is a public forest. And for a very long time, we as citizens, we have left it out. We assumed that everything is okay there, and we didn't have any participation mechanisms there. And now, especially with the climate change, with COVID, this perception is luckily and happily changing. And this has been an entry point for the work that I do, that we do as Forest and Citizens. That's our name. And what we do, we actually have, I thought about it, really 3 approaches. One thing is that we are radically honest about the situation. So the first thing is that how we use the forest is now abusive and that we need to change it. And the second thing is that in theory, if you are an EU citizen, you have a right to information, you have a right to participate in decision-making, you have a right to justice. There's a convention about it with referring to the environment, which means also forests. And these things, we are radically honest about it, and we basically say many things that public decision makers tell us are not true, and we need to work on, well, simply debunking some bullshit that we are being told. And second thing is that in order not to be perceived as, you know, emotional activists, we try to be serious citizens. So we're definitely data-based, evidence-based. We work with the scientists. And the third thing and the most important thing is that we don't do it ourselves. We help people who shared our values in Poland, and now there's increasingly more and more people like this. We work with about 1,000 activists now in Poland. We make tools for them so they can put pressure on the system, first locally, and then regionally, and then nationally, in order to change the policies. And just to give you a very short example how we put it all together, for example, there is data, information on forest logging. It exists there, it's splendid data, but it's not being shared with the citizens. So what we did is we took this data, we produced a map using user experience design, a map that's very intuitive and that enables everyone to learn what's going to happen with the forest that you are connected with, that you feel is important for the local community, because, for example, it helps preserve water resources. We made it into a map. It's a digital tool. People started using it. It produced a nationwide discussion about forests and logging, and this put pressure on the system, and now we are discussing on how to, nationwide, how to reduce logging.
Thank you. And I think you have also already partly answered my second question, because clearly the key to success of both of your strategies is also that you are mobilizing many others to bring about this change that you are aiming for. Who are you activating and how, Ugo?
So we started by activating groups, community groups of repairers, people in every town, every village, that wanted to share their repair skills with their fellow residents and preventing waste in that way. But by repairing something collaboratively, you also learn what are the problems with how things are designed today. This ended up into phenomenal open data sets of data that doesn't exist anywhere else, and allowed us to form coalitions that push European legislators by having real data about hundreds of thousands of attempts to repair and showing that the vast majority of products that people want to repair are not even yet considered by European legislators for any right to repair law. So while we see that there is interest in coming up with legislation, and we've won on some products, the next generation of mobile phones you'll be buying will be, by law, more repairable than what's in your pocket. But thank you. But a lot more has to happen, and when you realize your electric vehicles, electric bikes, solar panels, all your kitchen appliances, your headphones, your audio equipment, the list is long, and all these products are not yet covered, yet the voices of the hundreds of thousands of people that repair in community settings start telling an important story. In addition, we've created a large coalition. It's called Right to Repair Europe. It already includes over 170 organizations across Europe. And that features companies that see the importance of making products repairable so that they can be reused, refurbished, given a second, third lease of life. It includes companies that might benefit by providing repair services, others that benefit by making available and distributing spare parts. So it shows the economic power behind a true, honest circular economy. So we are bringing all these voices together, show that we can do better. We must accelerate this shift, and we need to do it for real. It's not enough to improve the way people recycle. It's nothing about that. It's about reusing, repairing, extending the life of everything that already has been manufactured if we are to slow down the drastic transition, not slow down, speed up the transition away from fossil fuels and for misuse of resources. Thank you.
And Marta, maybe a final remark from you. Who do you think, whose true participation is needed for your change to become true?
Well, at the moment we are working mainly in Poland in the Polish policy context, but as I've mentioned, it's really about local communities. And actually my journey has been that I have been this person that now I work with because I have discovered that my forest that I have been connected with for a very long time is going to be logged. So this is my experience that is being now used by many groups. When we started 4 years ago, we have mapped 30 groups like this in Poland. Now we have around 500 initiatives, and they are all learning for that experience. And we have a coalition now, and once we have put this pressure, the policymakers have recognized the issue. Now this coalition is working at the national level to change the policies. 9 months ago, they have promised us some significant changes in the policy, and now we have a hard job of actually forcing them to make it true. So really cheer us up, and maybe we want to make some changes. And we do hope that later on we can bring this experience to Europe as well, because we do see that in some European countries this is also an issue and people do not have access to information and participation with this particular regard.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you. And please stay with me, because now I hope that everyone in the room has left, or is giving now all the energy that you have left for the biggest last applause. But before that, I would like to invite you, all dear fellows, to join us here on stage to get this applause.
Please, please. Second attempt. It's my second attempt, because now is the time to really celebrate. And we are ready with drinks, and it's time to mingle, chat. Do you remember? Welcome, congratulate, hug, collaborate. And all of that is happening
outside.
Thank you.